So is this live?
Yeah. So, yeah. No, we're recording now.
Okay,
Hold on.
bet.
All right. So what's going on, everybody? This is episode 84 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout outs to everybody that's been supporting us thus far. For all those that haven't seen any of my episodes yet, go check it out on YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. But without further ado, I have a very special guest here today. We have Mr. Glenn Smith, the founder and architect of DFW Hoops. Next month, around this time, he's gonna have a great tournament taking place called the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest. You guys probably might have seen them highlights last year when they were in the American Airlines Center, the home of the Dallas Mavs. But Glenn, thank you for coming on to share your testimony.
Ain't no doubt about it, my man. I appreciate you having me, Doc.
So let's start. When did basketball first begin for you?
Well, I've always, been intrigued by basketball, growing up playing, whether it was the Boys and Girls Club or middle school or high school, and then as well as dabbling around with it in college. I really didn't play that much in college, but then in college, I got a really, really good, intriguing about the business side of sports, not just what happens on the court, but, the logistics stuff of it, like how teams get to and from, how the concession stand works, how the gym rentals, the arena rentals and just things like that work. I've always been intrigued by numbers and things like that.
That's what's up, man. So what part of Texas did you grow up in, and what's the culture like out there?
So I grew up in a small town in East Texas called Texarkana, which half of it's in Texas, half of it's in Arkansas. So that's kind of how he got his name. And it's like 15 miles from Louisiana. So that's how they got the name Texarkana. And
Wow.
It's not a real big basketball culture in East Texas. East Texas is primarily known for football and baseball. It's a lot of good baseball players that have came out of that area and a lot of good football players that have came out of that area as well. So every 3-4 years, they'll produce, 2 or 3 high major basketball players. I think this year, the big name out of East Texas, especially where I'm from, is Damian Collins, who's a top 20 kid in the country from Atlanta High School.
That's what's up, man. So, did you play high school ball?
Yeah, I did. I played it at Texas High.
Okay. What year did you graduate from Texas High?
99.
Shout out to the graduating class of 1999. So where did you play college ball at?
No, I actually tried to walk on at Nicholls State.
Oh, okay. How did that go?
It went well. It went well. It kind of spearheaded the movement that I'm in now. Just kind of learning the ins and outs of everything. Like a lot of people only see what goes on the court. They don't understand the hours of preparation that goes on before the game, after the game, and all of that.
Yeah, man, I hear that. So when did you begin with DFW Hoops?
So I did that. So after college, after I graduated from college, I took a commission in the Air Force. And when I was in the Air Force, I was stationed in Augusta, Georgia. And Augusta, Georgia is known for 3 things. It's known for the Army installation, Fort Gordon. It's known for the Masters golf tournament. And it's known for the Nike Peach Jam. And so that's where I really got my feet wet and just of learning how to really put on an event. And then that's where I met a guy named Jeremy Junies, who runs the center where the Peach Jam is played. He used to take me around with him everywhere. I learned how to really.
So you were saying?
And so Jeremy used to take me up and down all around. I learned a lot of the business part of how an event is ran, like the logistics of it, like how to book teams based off of their parameters of when they want to play, I learned how to organize a concession stand. I learned how to schedule the games, schedule the referees. I just learned everything. And then I moved to Dallas. I saw there was a market for someone to cover basketball. So I actually started off doing a recruiting service and being a source of media, a media outlet. And then I realized that a lot of talent was in Dallas. And so I started the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest 12 years ago. Yeah, 12 years ago. Because this will be the 12th year.
Wow. So talk about, a little bit about DFW Hoops.
So that was a company that I started a long time ago when I first got started, and that was a company that covered strictly Dallas Fort Worth area basketball. At the time, I had like a magazine that I would put out. I had art. Events.
I'm sorry, go ahead. You were saying?
Yeah, so then after that, that's when I started doing events, and then I no longer did the media stuff as much.
So talk about, the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest.
Okay, this will be my 12th year doing it. I started off at a really, really small school that's actually not even open anymore in Arlington. Then I moved it over to Duncanville High School. Duncanville probably has, one of the nicest high school campuses I've seen. It's really comparable to a lot of Division I schools. I was there for about 10 years. And then last year, I made a jump and moved the last 4 games of the event to the American Airlines Center, which is the home of the Dallas Mavericks. And then because of COVID and because of the UIL restrictions this year, I'm doing a doubleheader at the American Airlines Center as well.
So 2008 is when the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest started.
Yeah.
So talk about, the beginning of the Hoop Fest. Like, what was it like that first year?
That first year, it was crazy because it was a new event that no one had done before, and a lot of people took a chance in rocking with me. And I had some really, really good teams. I had some really good players that was in that event, and it really just kind of from that, it was the springboard, and it kind of took off from there. Then the following year, I was at Duncanville High School, and then that's when I was, having, the Emmanuel Moutier's, the Isaiah Austins when he was in high school, the Marcus Smarts, and those guys, it really was, it's been a hell of a ride. It's been really fun.
So Emmanuel Moutier, Marcus Smart, Trae Young played in your event.
Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox, Jarrell Martin, Andrew Jones, Julius Randle, who else? Jaylen Brown when he was a freshman over at Wheeler, Rodney Purvis, Skal Labissiere, who else? Terrence Ferguson, the Harrison twins. What else am I missing? There's been some dudes come through there, man. There's been some guys come through there.
So talk about some of the programs that have played in there. Like, name some of the programs that came through.
Montverde has come through. Wheeler out of Georgia has came through. Who else? Sierra Canyon has came through. Every top team in Texas has came through. Every top team in Oklahoma has came through. Every top team in Louisiana has came through. Some of the best teams in Florida. A couple of years ago, Lee High School out of Alabama, which is one of the best teams in Alabama, they came through. 2 years ago, what's my man's name? That's Tony Irons. The name is Vashon out of St. Louis. They came through. They came and shut it down. They were really, really exciting. I can't remember the name of the school that Rodney Purvis was at. He came through and shut it down. It's been some really, really good teams that have came through there.
Indeed. So Talk. What was like the best moment of the event? At Duncanville.
Probably some of the most memorable moments of Duncanville would be the year that Yates played Flower Mound Marcus. That was a year when Flower Mound won one of their state championships. Yates was running off a high. They had just broke the record for average most points per game in a season. They were probably one of the most exciting teams in the country. And Marcus Smart and them popped them. Marcus Smart and them had a really, really good team that year, and they won state. Probably that one, or the Harrison twins when they played. I can't remember who they played, but it was a hell of a game. Last year, Sierra Canyon girls had two really, really tough games. They played DeSoto girls on one night and then backed it up the next night and played Duncanville girls. So those were two really, really, I normally just do strictly boy games, but I've been sprinkling in some high end, some high level girl games, and those two girl games last year were really, really high level.
Now, talk about moving it into the American Airlines Center, which is the home of the Dallas Mavericks, an NBA arena. What was it? How did you feel after, moving it to a bigger venue after 10 years?
I felt blessed for one. I felt really, really good about it. And I'll tell you why, because it really showed me that the city of Dallas Fort Worth, they really fooled with me. They really embraced me, and a lot of people saw, like, I don't have the liberty of having, a money guy behind me or an NBA player behind me. And the city really embraced me because they really watched me get it. People, I don't mean to sound cliche, but they watched me really get it from the mud. I'm saying? They really watched me start at a school that had, the regular bleachers that didn't go all the way up. And then 11 years later, we made it to the American Airlines Center. So it was a bunch of people that came out, not just for the game, but just to see one of their own make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it, it's like if you start an event, like in New York, like you start an event and it just starts off at, a small school with one side of the bleachers, then 10, 11 years later, you putting 13,000 in Madison Square. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the, people came out that may or may not didn't even like basketball like that, but they just wanted to see somebody do it, and somebody that looked like them. That's the most important thing. Somebody that looks like them, which is motivation for me because, a lot of people didn't even know I was black. You know what I'm saying? They see the name Glenn Smith, they thinking, it's an old white dude about to come through.
Wow.
And I'm catching people off guard. They're like, "Are you Glenn?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And then, people just walking up and saying, "Hey, man, we real proud of you." People that I don't even know, which kind of made me feel good because, then they're like, "Hey, man, come talk to my son." You know what I'm saying? Just kind of tell them you can do anything, which was good because ain't nobody that looked like me or you and never walked up in there like that. And we was out, I mean, it was like you had everybody from the trappers to the rappers to the ball players, regardless of sport, to people that were like dignitaries, to politicians, to CEOs, everybody who watched me grow and stay humble with it. Because anybody that'll tell you is that I'm always above board. I don't do any funny business, but everybody was just so happy to see one of their own, make it. Like we was in there. You know what I'm saying? It was like a surreal moment that I just had to kind of just stop, take a deep breath, and just like, you know what, we up in here. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a whole outfit. I had this clean suit that I got tailored I was gonna wear. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, wow, I didn't get a chance to change because we was like, okay, and that brought them out. You know what I'm saying? And then it made a lot of people was really proud. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that I ain't got no money man behind me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no millionaire, no NBA ball player, no football player, no sugar daddy that a lot of these cats be having and stuff like that.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, straight grind and grit. You know what I'm saying? So it was, man, it was awesome. I ain't gonna lie to you, it was awesome.
So how many people did you have in the crowd that day?
Almost 13,000.
Jesus. All this for a high school game.
And then we do
or
it
high
big in
school
Texas,
event.
baby. Yeah, we do it big in Texas, baby. We do it big in Texas, baby. You know, but it was cool, man. It was real amazing. You
And
know,
plus, Texas is a football state.
yeah, that's what really threw it off. It's a football state, and I did that on a very big high school football weekend.
Wow. Are they still playing football in Texas?
Yes, 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 yes.
Wow. Even through this COVID thing, man.
Yeah.
So I'm actually still watching videos of those games. Today, like last weekend, when my internet was kind of out, I still had service on my work phone, and I got to watching the game, the prolific prep game
Against St.
versus
Mark's.
yeah, that was a good game. I kind of saw highlights of Montverde playing. I think was it Yates?
Yep, Yates out of Houston.
But the big game, Sierra Canyon versus Duncanville, like that game was really good.
It was the boys and the girls game. Played them back to back. Sierra Canyon girls versus Duncanville girls, which was two teams ranked in the top 10 in the country, playing against each other, and then the boys playing against each other right behind them. You know, so that really had the crowd like lit up.
So that boys game was like the headliner.
Yeah.
The final game.
No. So the final game was Yates versus Montverde, which was supposed to have been a very big game too. But Yates had like 2, maybe 3 players that were ruled ineligible like 3-4 days before the event. So that's why it didn't. The game wasn't as competitive as a lot of people wanted it to be. Plus that Montverde team last year was unreal.
They were stacked. Yeah, you can't even lie about that. They were really stacked.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's big right there. So now, let's talk about this year's Hoop Fest. So unfortunately, you guys have to have limited tickets for the event.
Correct.
But how many people would you guys be expecting?
So I'm expecting anywhere from 5,500 to 6,500.
That's fair.
You know, but that's with the social distance friendly seating chart that we have in play. You know, so we're selling tickets in pods of 2, 3, 4, and 5, and so that also kind of factors into having space between you and the people next to you, either direction, as well as having a couple seats behind you as well. So it kind of really works out, you know. And then of course everyone is going to have masks. They'll do temperature checks once you get there, you know. So it's going to be legit. It's just a way of providing a high level experience for people while also being safe. You know what I'm saying? So everybody got to keep your mask on. They'll have people enforcing that, which is kind of like the new norm anyway. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You can't get those big groups together now, you know, but they'll have, you know, sections for, you know, for families, the way that those are, you know. So last year we did general admission tickets. This year is all reserved because of that. So we'll have those pods for people like that, you know. So, but it seems like it's working really well. You know, people are really, you know, they scooping those tickets up. You know, it's 2 really, really good games that'll be that night. And so people are like snatching them up like crazy right now.
Yeah, I mean, COVID has messed up a lot of things for a lot of people, but I'm glad, you know, that safety precautions are in place, you know, because a lot of people out there are really skeptical about this whole COVID thing. But, you know, I feel like you can still go out and have a good time. Like, as long as things are enforced, I think that would be really good.
You know, they definitely will be enforced, and then that's part of the reason why I wanted to go back to the AAC, and they wanted me back as well. You know, because they have a system in place. You know, because the AAC reached out to me. They was like, hey, if you're gonna do something, let's do it here. You know what I'm saying? Because we've got the resources, and then we've got the manpower to enforce things, but also make sure people feel safe and still have a good time to watch some high level basketball. You know, so. They're going to do their part. I'm going to do mine. You know, I have 4 teams that'll participate in the event. Each team will have their own set of warm-up balls, and then I'll have 2 different game balls for each game.
Nah, that's big right there.
You know,
So,
just trying to do it right.
No, you trying. You about to do it right. But let's talk about the 4 teams. Now, the first game, St. Mark's versus
John Paul II, which is a game that is probably one of the most anticipated games in the state, because both of them won state in their respective private school class. You know, but like private school basketball in the South really isn't that big. Not like it is on the East Coast, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they are really good, both of them, like they could compete and probably beat 80-90% of the public schools in Texas. So on one side, you have John Paul. They won TAP's 5 or 6A state championship last year, and they have 2 top 25, we'll say top 30 kids on their team. One of them is Manny Obeski. He's going to Texas A&M. And the other kid is a 6'7" wing by the name of Jalen Tyson, who's committed to Texas Tech. That's a hell of a 1-2 punch. You know, St. Mark's, on the other hand, they won their respective state championship last year. They have a 6'8" small forward who's a junior by the name of Colin Smith. But then they also have a 6'7", 6'8" wing who's top 10 in the country by the name of Harrison Ingram, who's going to Stanford. Another thing that's really intriguing about that matchup is because everybody wanted to see them play against each other last year. But you know, one side is saying that this side was ducking them, the other side is saying that this team is ducking them. You know, so I'm like, well, you know, y'all ain't got to duck each other. You know, I'm gonna give y'all the stage. It's on y'all to dance. You know, so I'm gonna give y'all the biggest stage. You know that they in high school in Texas that you can have. You know, we're gonna do it at the American Airlines Center, and you know both coaches was all about it. You know, they're both excited. You know, that is the perfect first game for the night because it's going to be very competitive. They're going to have the kind of crowd that sets the tone. You know, they're going to have the crazy student section. You know, they're going to have the guys with the body paint and the face paint talking crazy. You know, so it's going to set the environment, you know, for the next game.
Which is Duncanville versus Yipsy Prep.
Yes. Defending 6A state champion, Duncanville.
Wow.
So I don't want people to think that Yipsy Prep is just going to waltz into Texas and that, especially that night, and get a W real quick. You know, Duncanville, they won state 2 years ago. There was a good chance that a lot of people feel like they were going to win state last year, but you know, they were actually on the bus driving down to San Antonio for the state championship, and they got turned around because they end up COVID, end up hitting, you know, coming. So they just made all 4 teams state champions, you know, so you can call them back-to-back state champions, you know, but they are, you know, the 2-time defending state champion in the biggest classification in Texas, which is 6A.
Wow.
They have 2 sophomores that are really, really good. In ESPN's initial 2023 ranking, both of those guys were ranked in the top 25 in the country. That's Cameron Barnes and Ronald Holland. They also have a kid by the name of Zurich Phelps that just committed to SMU. They have another guy that's about to commit. And then they probably have Juan Reyna, who's about to, who should go low major to high, a low major plus type of kid who can shoot the skin off the ball. So they are a really, really good high school team, you know, unlike a lot of teams that can like recruit and stuff like that. They're a really solid high school team. And then of course, you know, Yipsy Prep is, you know, they're led by, you know, the guy, you know, Imani Bates.
Like that's big right there, man. Just to have Yipsy Prep, which is basically in their first season of existence, you know, coming to an event like this. You know, they're showcasing Imani. Like, how do you think it'll be, you know, the Texas crowd will receive Imani?
I think they're gonna receive him a couple of different ways. I think that they are going to respect his game, but they're gonna make sure that he knows that he's in Texas. You know, um, um, Texas people are like, hey, you may be who you are outside of here, but we ain't just out here giving respect like that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to get it. You're gonna have to get it from around here. And he's gonna have his hands full. Like it's not gonna be it's not gonna be all sunshine and strawberries when he get between them lines. You know what I'm saying? When they play Duncanville, Duncanville's gonna get up in him in his whole team. They gonna be starstruckness. You know what I'm saying? People in Texas don't really get like that. You know what I'm saying? You put your boots on one at a time just like we do. And so we're gonna rock with it like that. But I also expect them to realize, hey, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to play against a kid that's a generational talent. So we're gonna relish the moment, but we also gonna let him know that he is in Texas at the American Airlines Center.
Nah, that's big right there. So, also you mentioned the celebrities last year. You had Dwayne Wade in the crowd. Like, how did it feel to have him in the crowd?
So it was cool to have Dwayne Wade. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, that was cool, but it wasn't the pinnacle of it. You know what I'm saying? Like having Yellow Beezy, who's a local, hood favorite and rapper, platinum selling rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like I've met D Wade before, so that wasn't really, the aha moment for me. The aha moment for me was, seeing everybody from different walks of life and different demographics, from your local gangbangers to your local, pediatrician, to your local, district attorney, to the local hip hop dentist, to, different cowboys, retired NBA players, Darren Williams was in there too, just the different people, different, just seeing, it was like the United Nations up in there. It was people from different races, different backgrounds, everything, that's what did it for me. It was cool, for the clickbait, for people to say, Dwayne Wade was there. But, for me personally, it was just seeing people from different walks of life all in the gym, for something that I've been, putting my blood, sweat, and tears in, for like 11, 12 years, because a lot of people just think that it just happened overnight. But a lot of people don't see, the years when I went home crying because I lost, $10,000, or I lost 12,500, when I went home crying and, my mom, like, baby, it's going to be all right, this, that, and the other, that's why, that's what made last year so special. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of other stuff, that happened along the journey. Like a lot of people see the glory, but they don't know the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Behind it. You know what I'm saying? That's why last year was like so surreal and so amazing. And I felt so, so blessed, you know what I'm saying? Because it was a lot of shit that happened on the way there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't just get there overnight. It was a lot of peaks and valleys and a lot of low valleys as well.
I mean, I hear that, man. That's a story in itself right there. So for all the people that want to start an event, like talk about what goes into starting an event of the magnitude of the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest.
Start with what you can maintain. Don't just jump into the deep end yet. You know what I'm saying? Start with something that you can maintain and perfect it and then gradually grow it. Because if you jump out too quick, it's going to come across as unorganized. But if you can start off with something small and perfect it, and each year add a different piece to it and a different piece to it to where you can still maintain it, that's the first step. The second step is to have people around you that are smarter than you. The thing about me and the reason why I think that I've been fortunate and blessed to be still around and as successful as I am is because, one, I know I don't know everything. Two, I have no problem putting people around me that know more than me You know, like I may not be good in B and C, but I'm gonna find the perfect person that knows B and the perfect person that knows C. And I don't babysit them. I don't micromanage them. I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna bring you on. I'm gonna let you do your thing. You know what I'm saying? And uh, I don't mind putting people on. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know, because you can come around and you can think that you ain't learned how I do everything. But the key to it all is I'm the secret sauce. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you how to do it, you know what I'm saying? But you still ain't me, you know.
Right.
You know, but if you're gonna start, don't go too big too quick. Don't get caught up in people saying what you can or can't do. Don't let everybody's fear of not being able to do something deter you from being able to do what you want to do. Because a lot of people not going to dream like you dream. A lot of people not going to see your vision that you see it. And a lot of people only, another thing I would say is get people away from you that only want you to stay on the same level that they met you at. Because a lot of people, if they see you and they meet you as a janitor, and then you come back a year later and say, hey man, you know, I'm in night school, you know, I'm about to get my bachelor's, and then you get the bachelor's, then they're gonna be certain people gonna try to hate on you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They're like, man, you the janitor? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, man, I'm not the janitor no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm a summa cum laude graduate with a bachelor's of science in finance. That's who I am now. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't let people deter you or detract you from what your ultimate goal is.
I hear that, man. So, in addition to the tournament, you actually got that merchandise too, man. I see you got some nice shorts and all that.
Oh yeah, man. You have to text me address, man. You know, that was a brainchild that I had because originally I was supposed to do another Hoop Fest this year in Miami. And then I was like, you know what? Because of COVID, and then they're not letting out of state teams come in, or they've been going back and forth with whether or not they're going to do that or not. You know, but the merch thing was like, because I had sweatshirts last year and I was kind of suspect on it. And a buddy of mine was like, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just let me do it. And if I make any money, I'll give you half of it. I'm like, all right, man, cool. I ain't got to lose nothing, you know. But what ended up happening is that we sold out of the sweatshirts because everybody wanted, and they were dope, you know. And so I've got like 11 different SKUs as far as different kind of t-shirts, and I've got 4 different versions of the shorts. And the shorts are really, really high quality shorts. Like a lot of other people are selling these kind of shorts for like at least $125. You know, I'm only selling my shorts for $75, and I'll tell you why. Not everybody shops at Nordstrom's or Neiman Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody shops there, but everybody shops at Walmart. I don't care how much money you got. Everybody goes to Walmart.
Right.
I don't care if you're a billionaire or you're a crackhead. We all go to Walmart. Everybody goes to Walmart. You know what I'm saying? And then that's where I picked a moderate price point for my shorts. Because I could easily be selling, for $100 or whatever. But that's not my thing, though. You know, just being able to see people, rock my stuff, and then see the Hoop Fest brand out and about. You know, one time I was in South Carolina and I seen somebody with one of my shirts on. And I was like, hey, man, let me take a picture of you. You know, send them to take a selfie with you. Like, how? Why? I said, I just like your shirt, man. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even tell him I was the one that designed it. But I just thought it was dope to see somebody rocking the shirt.
If anything, I would have told him that. I'm like, yo, you wearing my shirt. Thanks for supporting. I would have told him that. Because no, but that's big right there. Like sometimes people have read my articles and they're like, oh, that's you? Like they don't even know who I am at first until I say the name.
Right.
Or they'll recognize me from somewhere like, yo, you do great work, this, that, and the third. So I'm like, I feel blessed because I'm 5 years in. You know, it took me a long process to get there, but I'm happy that I've gotten to where I've got. And your story is similar to mine, I would say.
No doubt.
Because, nothing came to us overnight. Like, we had to work for it for years.
No doubt. No doubt about it. No doubt. Definitely had to grind it out.
Yeah, man. So this is one of the questions that I love to ask my guests before I lead up to the final question. If you could go back in a time machine to 2008 what would you tell a younger Glenn Smith as he's going through the process of starting an event such as the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest?
Stay positive. Realize that some people that you start with aren't going to be with you in the end of it. Everybody's not, not going to see it, and keep all the squares out of your circle. That's what I would tell them.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Keep the squares out your circle.
Absolutely. Final question. What's next in the future for Glenn Smith and the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest?
What's next is I'm probably going to drop something probably in a week or so about another event. It's really going to catch some people off guard. Perfect that. And then ultimately, I would like to do some stuff in another country.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Wow, that's in Hoop Fest International. Like that would be big. So this other event, when could it possibly be, and would there be some big time teams in it? I know you can't drop much right now, but
it's going to be in December, and it will have a very big name in it, possibly two very big names.
And it's going to be in Dallas.
No, it will not be in Dallas.
Well, I'm looking forward to that news in a week.
No doubt.
Yeah,
a week at the latest. By this time next week, we may be on the phone again.
Glenn, thank you for coming on. And, I really appreciate you sharing the story of the Hoop Fest and your journey with me. And I wish you nothing but the best moving forward with the Hoop Fest and DFW Hoops as a whole.
Hey, man, thank you so much.
Indeed. Well, everybody, this is episode 84 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout outs to my guy, Glenn Smith, for showing love and sharing his story. For those of y'all in Dallas, Texas, definitely show this episode love. If you want to know more about the Hoop Fest, check out this episode. And also catch us at the Hoop Fest in Dallas on November 28th. We will be in the building. Like if you don't know the name, check out Dave's Joint. We'll be doing editorial content soon. Also before we break out, we'd like to thank our sponsors, the Players Circle. It's the Instagram for basketball players. All your athletes out there, go check it out. We're definitely gonna be showing some showing the app, you know what I'm saying? Download that app right now if you ever get a chance. But everybody stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.
No doubt, my man. You have a good one.